hope everyone celebrates for them, whether they just agree with the monarchy or not. For her especially, where it's going to be the most difficult life. One thing in the world, if I could, get rid of, is that negativity in the British press and that hatefulness, that horrible, nastiness that we have pervades our British media. I put the record straight. She went and did the Oprah show and kind of bad-mouthed me. And in fact, I wanted to put the record straight on what really happened.
What if I told you that one of the world's greatest music legends, Elton John, has finally revealed secrets about Princess Diana that could change the way we see her legacy forever? Not just as the people's princess, but as a woman who foresaw the future of the monarchy even from beyond the grave. These revelations are more than stories of jewels and wills. They're whispers of guidance. A mother's final attempt to shape the crown's destiny. Welcome back, everyone, to the place where the echoes of royal history never fade, and where music, fame, and monarchy often collide in the most dramatic ways imaginable. Today, we're stepping deep into a story that blends tragedy, legacy, and revelation, a tale that connects Diana, her two sons, and the one man she trusted to guard her memory, Elton John. Before we dive into these stunning details, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our future royal deep dives. Diana and Elton, the beginning of a legendary bond. Let's rewind to the glittering yet turbulent 1980s. The royal family was under a global spotlight, and Diana, young, radiant, and vulnerable, was thrust into a life of unimaginable pressure. Enter Elton John, already a music icon, but equally hounded by tabloids and struggling under the weight of fame. The two met in 1981 at a Windsor Castle ball, and from the very first night, sparks of friendship flew. Their bond wasn't built on glamour or status, it was built on understanding. Diana confided in Elton about her struggles, her heartbreak within the palace walls, and her desperate wish for her sons to grow up free from the suffocating shadows of the crown. Elton, flamboyant yet deeply empathetic, became a safe space for her. They laughed together, cried together, and developed a rare connection that defied both celebrity culture and royal formality. A friendship beyond headlines. What made their friendship so powerful was that it wasn't for show. Away from the flashing cameras, Diana and Elton shared a disdain for the relentless tabloid machine. They both knew what it felt like to be both idolized and hunted. And in those private conversations, Diana revealed her fears not just for herself, but for William and Harry. Elton would later recall in his memoir that Diana had a way of making him feel grounded, just as he gave her an escape from the suffocating rigidity of royal life. Their friendship became a bridge between two worlds, the glamour of pop culture and the cold traditions of monarchy. 1997, the world stops. Then came that fateful night in August 1997. Diana's tragic death shocked the world, leaving her two young sons devastated. Just days later, the entire globe watched as Elton John performed his haunting reimagining of Candle in the Wind at her funeral. Performance that not only honored her life, but became the best-selling single of all time. But what the cameras didn't capture was Elton's silent vow to look after William and Harry, to ensure that Diana's light didn't die with her. And for years, he kept that promise, quietly guiding them through life's storms. Elton John's revelations, Diana's final wishes, fast forward to today. And Elton has peeled back layers of Diana's legacy that few ever expected to hear. Through candid interviews and heartfelt speeches, he's hinted at what Diana's final wishes truly were. These wishes weren't just locked inside legal documents, they were encoded in her letters, her conversations, and her will. They revealed her hopes for stability amid chaos, her desire for her sons to live meaningful lives, and perhaps most importantly, her vision of the monarchy's future. One of the most striking elements involves her jewelry collection. These weren't just sparkling stones, they were pieces of history, symbols of her grace and struggles. According to Elton, Diana intended for these treasures to act as bridges to the next generation, especially for the woman who would one day stand beside Prince William as queen consort. Diana's hand beyond the grave, imagine this, Catherine, now Princess of Wales, stepping into the role Diana once occupied, not just by title, but with Diana's very jewels adorning her. The sapphire engagement ring, the iconic earrings, the brooch, these were not just heirlooms. They were Diana's way of guiding William's partner, ensuring that the woman who would stand beside the future king carried not only the crown, but her spirit. Elton John himself, during a 2023 AIDS Foundation event, said Diana would have been thrilled with how William and Catherine embody her humanitarian ethos. She had wanted William's partner to reflect strength, compassion, and humility, the very values Diana fought for. And in Catherine, Elton suggests Diana's wish has come true. William, Harry, and the shift, of course, Elton's role in the lives of Diana's sons hasn't been without drama. He adored both William and Harry, celebrating their weddings, and defending them when the world turned critical. He even performed at Harry and Meghan's wedding in 2018. A gesture that highlighted his continued loyalty, but as years passed, cracks began to show. Harry's path, especially after the release of his memoir Spare, reportedly caused friction. Elton, once a mentor and supporter, began to feel that Harry's choices strayed too far from Diana's hopes for unity and dignity. In contrast, William and Catherine's steady balance of family and duty seemed to resonate more deeply with Elton's memories of Diana. By 2024, Elton openly praised William and Catherine's approach to monarchy, saying they reflect the very values Diana dreamed of passing on. His words marked a noticeable shift, a subtle but clear alignment with the couple poised to take the throne. The enduring legacy. So what does this all mean? It means that Diana's influence is far from gone. Through her jewelry, her words, and her foresight, she continues to shape the monarchy even decades after her death. Elton John, one of her closest confidants, has become the messenger of that legacy, revealing how Diana's love still whispers through the halls of Windsor. Her story is not just about loss, it's about endurance. A mother's love out tragedy, a princess guiding a future queen, and a friend, Elton John, ensuring that the world never forgets her voice. He's closely aligned with William's initiatives, most notably the Earthshot Prize, which many see as a modern reflection of Diana's early environmental concerns. Friends of Elton, speaking anonymously, described this as a return to roots, a recognition that William has become the true steward of Diana's legacy. Catherine, too, has drawn his admiration, not only for her grace under relentless pressure, but also for a modern resilience that feels like an evolved echo of Diana's spirit. This shift in Elton's loyalty wasn't sudden. It was gradual, built on years of watching, listening, and observing the brothers' very different paths. He witnessed the growing rift between William and Harry firsthand, and according to discussions reported in forums and insider columns, Elton grew increasingly wary of narratives that seemed to exploit Diana's story for personal gain. One source close to him summed it up bluntly: Elton's heart remains with the stability of the monarchy. And in William and Catherine, he sees Diana's vision for a compassionate, forward-looking crown taking root. Delving deeper into Elton's disclosures, his words shine a light on Diana's strategic foresight, especially when it came to William's future partner. In a 2018 interview with ABC News, Elton recalled Diana's joy at the idea of her sons marrying women who would strengthen, not strain, their royal roles. This ties directly to Diana's will, executed after her death in 1997. William and Harry each inherited a portion of her £12.9 million estate, which grew to nearly £10 million by the time they reached their 30s. But it wasn't just about money. Diana's personal effects, her dresses, tiaras, and jewels, were distributed with intent, almost like symbolic assignments for the future. Elton has implied that specific items, such as the pearl earrings Catherine has worn to state events, were not random choices. They were meant as privileges to be fully realized only as Catherine approached queenship. These were more than glittering accessories, they were tools of empowerment. They symbolized Diana's unspoken blessing, her way of passing on strength and continuity, as Catherine edges closer to her future role as queen. Especially amid ongoing speculation about Charles's health, sources suggest she may soon gain fuller access to Diana's private archive. This includes deeply personal letters that purportedly contain advice on navigating palace life, public scrutiny, and isolation. In a 2025 reflection shared through his foundation, Elton emphasized that Diana wanted William's wife to inherit not only her jewels, but also her voice, her humanitarian calling, her empathy, and her fight against silence. Catherine's patronage Of children's hospices, her championing of mental health and her hands-on approach to motherhood mirror this inheritance perfectly. Elton has publicly affirmed these choices as Diana's legacy living on in action. Not just memory.royal experts, including those who have studied Diana's estate and legacy, note how deliberate this transfer of influence was. Unlike Camilla, who navigated royal life without such maternal endorsement, Catherine steps into her role with Diana's silent approval. It's a mantle of grace and responsibility, carefully timed before her queenship that symbolizes Diana's hand reaching across generations to shape the monarchy's future. But Elton's shifting allegiance has also cast a spotlight on Meghan. Initially, he welcomed Harry and Meghan warmly. He even hosted them at his French villa in 2019, defending their use of private jets and praising their early popularity. Yet, by 2023, things had changed dramatically. In Spare, Harry revealed tensions between himself and Elton, including disagreements over media decisions. Insiders, however, suggest the rift went deeper. Speculation swirled online that creative clashes, particularly surrounding Meghan's shelved Netflix project Pearl, which was linked to Elton's husband David Furnish, may have soured relations. To Elton, fiercely protective of Diana's memory. Meghan's approach began to feel less like authentic advocacy and more like calculated disruption. He reportedly came to view her battles with the press as echoing Diana's struggles, but without the same sincerity. By 2024, reports indicated that Elton saw Meghan's ventures, her podcasts, memoirs, brand launches, as less about reforming the institution and more about destabilizing it. His withdrawal was quiet but deliberate, marked by absences from Sussex events where once he would have been front and center. Biographers like Tom Bauer have described Elton's Oscars party snub as symbolic of this shift. Once a defender of Meghan's right to speak, he now frames her narrative as self-serving and divisive, precisely the kind of fragmentation Diana had hoped to avoid. A close friend even remarked, Elton feels Meghan's star power masks ambitions that risk destabilizing the family. Diana fought to unify. By contrast, Elton's allegiance to William and Catherine has only deepened. In a 2025 interview with the Daily Mail, he praised the couple for evolving the monarchy in ways Diana would have championed, balancing tradition with accessibility, duty with compassion. His foundation's collaborations with William's Homewards project, aimed at tackling homelessness, further demonstrate their shared values and Diana's enduring influence. To Elton, this is not just loyalty, it's strategy. He sees William and Catherine as the true heirs of Diana's vision, guardians of a monarchy that can survive the modern world without losing its humanity. His support isn't just about friendship, it's about safeguarding the future crown from division, ensuring that Diana's dream of unity and compassion shines on. This isn't inheritance, it's a legacy transfer. A deliberate passing of the torch from Diana through Elton's voice to William and Catherine. And in his words and actions, Elton John makes one thing abundantly clear: Diana's light will continue to guide the next reign. Dreams still shape the crown's path. Elton John's revelations about Diana's wishes and his shifting allegiances signal a seismic turn in the monarchy's trajectory, one that highlights the delicate balance between tradition and transformation. Catherine, now poised to embrace Diana's privileges, her jewels, her private letters, her symbolic roles, she steps into queenship not as a mere royal consort, but as the direct heir to a legacy of compassion and resilience. These privileges, as Elton has emphasized, are far more than ceremonial gestures. They represent Diana's deliberate blueprint for a monarchy that remains relevant in the modern world. The sapphire earrings, the heartfelt letters, the quiet endorsement of Catherine's humanitarian work, especially her focus on mental health and early childhood, anchor her as the living embodiment of Diana's vision. And this moment, arriving just as questions swirl around King Charles's health, underscores a continuity that feels deeply intentional. Catherine's quiet strength mirrors Diana's, yet adapts it to a 21st century stage where authenticity matters more than pageantry. Elton's vocal support has amplified this narrative, casting William and Catherine as the architects of a monarchy capable of evolving without losing its roots. Initiatives such as William's Earthshot Prize and Catherine's Center for Early Childhood channel Diana's passion for social good into structured, impactful platforms. Endorsed by Elton on international stages, these efforts attract global allies from philanthropists to policymakers bolstering the monarchy's soft power. In sharp contrast, Elton's critique of Meghan Markle's public ventures, brand launches, and media projects paints a picture of disruption that, in his view, clashes with Diana's hope for unity. Reports in 2025 from The Sun suggest Meghan's American Riviera orchard and her Netflix collaborations are increasingly seen by royal insiders as attempts to commercialize the mystique of the crown. Elton believes Diana would have mourned such moves as divisive rather than unifying. This dynamic reshapes the royal narrative on a global stage. William and Catherine's focus on family, privacy, and purpose-driven work positions them as relatable yet regal. It's a balance Diana herself championed but struggled to achieve amid palace constraints. Their decision to self-fund projects like Catherine's shaping U.S. campaign and even their home renovations signals a nabilia nod to growing public demands for transparency. Elton's pivot from quiet neutrality to open advocacy hasn't gone unnoticed. In Hollywood, his absence from events once tied to the Sussexes such as the 2024 Oscars sent unmistakable ripples. Biographers like Angela Levin note this as a turning point where the monarchy reclaimed narrative control through trusted voices like Elton's. The implications reach far beyond palace walls. As William prepares for kingship, Diana's privileges for Catherine, both tangible and philosophical, fortify their partnership, ensuring the monarchy bends but does not break under modern scrutiny. Elton's alignment with them, rooted in decades of loyalty to Diana, validates this path as one of stability and evolution. Meanwhile, the Sussexes' trajectory, marked by what Elton sees as destabilizing ambition, risks fading from royal relevance. This is no mere family feud. It is, in many ways, a battle for the soul of the monarchy. Through Catherine, Diana's legacy promises a reign that honors the past while embracing a future where duty and humanity coexist. The dawn of this new era, with Elton John as its focal herald, suggests a crown that thrives by remaining grounded, compassionate, and true to the people's princess. As we draw the curtain on this intricate tale, Elton John's revelations serve as a powerful reminder. Princess Diana's story remains a vibrant thread in the tapestry of the modern monarchy. Her final wishes, meticulously crafted and now illuminated through the words of a trusted confidant, reveal a vision that transcends time. By entrusting Catherine with symbolic privileges, whether the sapphire jewels that gleam with history or the private letters offering wisdom, Diana ensured her legacy would guide the next generation. Elton's voice, seasoned by decades of friendship with Diana, amplifies this narrative. He casts Catherine as the embodiment of Diana's dreams, a woman of grace, resilience, and quiet strength, poised to redefine queenship in an era hungry for authenticity. His shift from neutral mentor to staunch advocate for William and Catherine speaks volumes about the monarchy's evolution. This isn't just a celebrity's opinion, it's the conviction of a cultural titan safeguarding the legacy of the woman he immortalized through Candle in the Wind. His endorsement of William and Catherine's family-first ethos, their commitment to mental health, environmentalism, and humanitarian work, signals a monarchy that adapts without abandoning its foundations. Embrace of Diana's privileges, timed as she nears queenship, is more than inheritance, it is transformation. It bridges eras, honors tradition, and opens the monarchy to a more relatable, compassionate future. And now, the question is yours. How do you see this unfolding? Does Catherine's role as Diana's spiritual heir promise a reinvigorated monarchy, one that blends heritage with progress? Or do the rifts Elton highlights suggest deeper challenges ahead? Perhaps you view Meghan's actions differently, less destructive, more reformative. We'd love to hear your perspective. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We read and value everyone, and if you've enjoyed this exploration into Diana's enduring influence, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive into the lives, legacies, and secrets of the crown. Until next time, keep pondering the past and its undeniable power to shape the future.